Welcome back. Today we have with us Mayor Waymond Ferman, Mayor of Indio.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to this podcast. I love what you're doing. I've seen some of your interviews already, and I'm just happy to be here. Hope we have enough time to get through some of my stuff. But you know what? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Let's get into it.
The best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. You always want to outwork your potential, your potential.
I'm so glad to have you in the building. This is your second time in the studio with us. The first time you were here a couple months ago, and you're for another event. I believe you were here to support a colleague, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It was a political party, yes.
Yes. So how in your span of where you began to now, did you ever see yourself within the political light?
Well, growing up, I was always in the middle of things,
Okay.
and I was kind of quiet, unless I was on stage performing. But I was always one who wanted to do better for people and stand up for people and do what's right. And so it was kind of organic for me to get here. I remember in high school, there was a little while when I was calling myself the mayor of Indio, not knowing that one day that I would be the first Black mayor of the city of Indio. So, it's definitely a great accomplishment, and I'm happy to be able to serve my community in this capacity.
So growing up in the city of Indio, what were some of the things that were different back then that are different now?
Well, we've grown a lot. We're approximately 95,000 people. Growing up, in the early 80s and 90s, we were a very smaller population. So, and one of the good things, we're very diverse, and there's power in diversity. And so we are a city that's growing. However, we're still like a small community. Everyone knows each other, or a family member, or you're related. So even though we're growing, we still have some of those great rooted qualities of our city. So it's a great community to not only move to and grow, but it's a great community to grow up in. So I love our city.
I love that. I love that because I grew up in a city called San Bernardino, further that away,
Yeah.
and a lot cooler temperature wise.
Yeah.
And for me, growing up, I saw some things growing up that I was like, man, I wish somebody would change this. I wish somebody that looked like me could kind of change this because it gives you a different type of perspective overall. For you being the first Black mayor of India, what does that feel like as far as like your perception? Because you have like your internal view, but also the external view as well too.
Yeah, I'm a very humble person. However, I understand that these are it's big shoes to, I can't feel, but to make and be a trailblazer for generations to come. A lot of folks have worked hard and prayed hard for me to get to where I'm at. And I don't want to sound cliche, but the saying that takes a village, African saying takes a village, is true. I had a great village around me. I had a lot of people who loved me, from family, friends, colleagues, and so it was, like I said, it was organic to get there. However, there were things that we did need to change in our community. And sometimes you have to look at things in a different lens, or be a professional listener and listen to folks to see what changes need to be made. And if you look at our city now, we have construction going on everywhere. Our city is safe. We had this past fiscal year a 10-year low in crime, which is a great accomplishment always. However, we don't want to be complacent. We still want to continue to grow. We still want to be continue to be a safe community. And so those are some of the things that are great now, and I have to be honest, growing up, there were challenges in our city, and there were challenges in the world. Every generation is faced with challenges, and in the 80s, there were some challenges in our community. However, like I said, we have folks who surrounded us and gave us a great space to grow and be positive. And so I think our world is changing now to see African American people in a different light, and we've come a long way. However, we still have a ways to go. And Indio, the Coachella Valley, California, United States of America, has a still growth to do, but it's ongoing and never stops, right?
Yeah, and that it's funny. Like as I see, because I follow you on Instagram, I'm seeing you from big events to small community events to just having these conversations with people in the community, and it's just like a person just doesn't become that. So growing up, what are some of the things growing up, and then also some things you still do in the community that has, I guess, a way of saying that what I've seen you, I've seen a person like you growing up in this community, and I know how to talk and communicate to you.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're doing within that?
Well, you know what, there's a saying that says, your biggest quality is availability. And being still full time as a correctional officer, I'm the mayor of the city. I'm also a father. I still make time to be available for the community so they can understand that I care. You're not going to get an email from me. I'm going to ask you, where do you want to meet? And I'll be there. It's important that we show our youth and our young adults that one of the biggest things you could do is just being present for someone. Sometimes people think that by financially supporting someone or just a text message is suitable. And sometimes it's not. You need to be present to show people you care. So I try to make it to any and all events I can. Sometimes I'm spread out and but I love what I do. I love serving our community. I love nurturing our youth. In my 42 years on this beautiful planet, I've experienced a lot, and I'm still growing. However, I want to share those experience with our youth, our young adults. And you get here and you grow by making mistakes, and they will continue to be mistakes and not lessons if you don't pass that on to someone else to teach them what you learned from that mistake, because no one's perfect. However, we can share those experiences to get to a better place. So I always try to show up.
Love that. So doing all these different things, and you mentioned the youth. I know you have 3 children of your own.
Yes.
How do you balance being the father and the mayor, correctional officer, all these different elements?
Well, you know what? I'm a routine person.
Okay.
Whether it's a day that I have to work at my job, or if it's a day off and I'm doing city stuff, I always make time, especially for my youngest one. And, I have a 6-year-old, and, actually, let me start from the top. I have a 22-year-old daughter. I have a 19-year-old son.
You look young. I'm just letting you know.
well, politics has got me a little gray.
By the time you're done, it's all going to.
Yeah. But however, I'm a routine person, and when you're dealing with those age groups, there's different needs and wants. And for my 2 older ones, my job still is to be a stern father, letting them know that the world is going to be a lot harder than I am, but I want to prepare them for when I'm not here. And that's one of I think the greatest things my mother did before she gained her wings, is she prepared me for this world. And I want to do the same thing for my kids. And sometimes as parents, we want to give them a lot more than what we had. And you know what? I'm guilty. It's not good sometimes. I'm guilty of that, but we want to spoil our children. However, you want to give them those values and morals and ethics that it's going to take and to move forward in this world. And then my 6-year-old, she's starting her journey in this world.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a critical time in their life that we give them those values. And so it's amazing. I love my kids. I love their friends. Sometimes they think dad is tough. Sometimes I get, dad, you're not at work. But however, I just want to make sure that when I'm gone, that they're prepared to take on the world. And I want them to reach greater heights than I ever even thought about, because they have the potential to do it. I have some beautiful, smart, intelligent young adults as children. And my little one, she's 6, but she thinks she's 26. So she's starting school this year. So, I love my children. Like I said, I love their friends, and I want to be a positive role model, not only for them, but for all of our youth in our valley.
I love that. So you have a lot of areas where you have the ability to kind of practice leadership in different aspects, right? Growing up, but also I guess in the midnight eve of you becoming the mayor, what type of leader did you aspire to be?
Well, you know what? I sometimes you don't wake up saying I'm going to be a
Mm,
leader. You don't get elected to be a leader. It's your own standards. And when you look back on your journey and all the way to the present, you can start looking at points in your life where you made a leap and bound that other folks weren't willing to do. You made sacrifices that other folks weren't willing
mm,
to make, and you springboarded. And even though you are sometimes born a leader, you don't understand that until someone pushes you a little bit and you understand who you are in this world. And at a young age, all the way till now, I understood that I was always an influential person. Now, where the leadership comes in, how do you use that influence to be a positive person in this world
mm.
and be a better person? So, of course, you're go through your adulthood and your teens, and as you mature, you have to change, because you are influencing people. Charles Barkley said, I'm not a role model. Your parents should be a role model, and I believe that, even though we have figures in our world and sports and entertainment who we aspire to be or look up to, the people who are role models are the people that we see every day, our colleagues, our mothers, our fathers, our coaches, our pastors. And so we are the ones that you see every day. So it's important that we understand our position in this world and
Mm.
that someone is always watching, whether it's
Yeah.
youth, young adults, someone's always watching. So it's always important to be that positive influence.
Yeah, that's so good. I think a lot of times, as in that position, do you ever feel pressure, as if like you're kind of, you want to make a decision, but you feel pressured on how the optics look?
Well, you know what? That's why folks elect you
Mm,
to be in the position that you are, because you understand how to make those decisions. You weigh the positives and the negatives of every decision, and why are we making a decision? Where are we trying to go with this decision? However, as far as pressure, in life, you go through different challenges and peaks and valleys, and pressure. When my mother was going through her journey with breast cancer, that was pressure. What I'm doing, you know what, if I make a decision wholeheartedly and I thought it out, and a lot of times I tell folks, let me sleep on it. I can look in the mirror the next day and understand that I made an ethical, educational decision. And so I'm happy with the decisions that I make. But I'm very thorough, and I do my research and homework before I had to make those tough decisions. But not everyone could do that.
yeah.
And when you are in these positions, you got to this position for a reason. It just didn't happen. And so your journey that you went through your life has gotten you to this position, and that's a process. And that's why I use the slogan, trust the process, because the process of you getting here has made you who you are to make those decisions. So some things that may be tough for other folks may not be tough for me, or vice versa. Or, so your journey leads you to this position.
I love that. So within leadership comes vision.
Yeah.
What is your vision, not only for your position yourself, but also your vision for the city as well too?
The city. You know what? I'm so lucky. And I shouldn't say luck. I don't know if there's a term for it. I say planetary alignment. I just think the stars aligned for the right at the right time,
Mm,
for me, for my city, the community, and we have so many great things going on in our city. There was a great base to build from, but we have the largest music festival in the world. We have Coachella Music and Arts Festival in the city of Indio. We have the Stagecoach Music Festival in the city of Indio. We have the Date Festival. We have the Tamale Festival, the Southwest Arts Festival. We have beautiful, great schools in the educational system. We have a beautiful city. We got beautiful people. We have food, entertainment. I want to expand on that. I want to make us a destination. I want to have innovation, creation, nice spaces where our youth could blossom. They don't have to go to LA. They could go to the Coachella Valley. And in Indio, we have this space where we could grow. And that's what I want. I want to foster a community that's going to support and love our senior citizens, because we do have a large senior citizen community, and I'm not far from there.
You're setting yourself up.
And however, we do have a young demographic as well. We have youth, and then we have the middle-aged folks like us. So I want something for everyone. I want everyone to be supported and uplifted in those spaces. And when you have a great quality of life and quality of living for everyone, it makes for a better day, because you know what? All we have is today. We may not have tomorrow. So I want to do it today for our folks. And if you look in the city of Indio now, we have construction going on everywhere. So it's so beautiful. We're getting ready for the next fiscal year. So I'm super excited about the future of the city of Indio and the vision we have, for our community. So and plus, with our neighboring cities in the Coachella Valley, such a beautiful place to live. Sometimes I wake up and I just understand that this is a beautiful place. I've been to other cities and places, and we're very fortunate here in the Valley.
I love it. I mean, I'm just out here 4 months in deep, and when I first got here, it was a lot cooler. No points off. I'm just saying it's hot. I'm glistening a little bit, but it's okay. So I love everything that you're saying. The city, which you gotta give me some good recommendations for some restaurants.
Oh, I got you.
Because I'm over here. I'm just like, what's going on? Some things close early out here too, as well. Too. So you got to give me some good recommendations for that. So my last question that I want to ask you is this. So what does the next level, the next phase look like for the city overall?
For the city overall, one of the key things I didn't talk about was our expansion to College of the Desert in the city of Indio. So I think what's going to take us to that next level is really expanding on our services for our youth, education, and some challenges that we have in the world with housing and taking care of our people who have challenges, who may be unsheltered or have mental issues. So when we really focus on some of those underlying issues that are going on in communities, it takes you to the next level, and it brings people in your community who also want to thrive and grow. And so we're in a good place. We have a good base to do that. And I have a passion for working on those challenges, because we could talk about the great things in any city, but every city has challenges. But I'm a boots on the ground person. It's not uncommon to see me out in 115-degree weather, walking and talking to homeless folks. And it's also not uncommon to see me out at midnight, talking to folks who are unsheltered, because I believe that every person has something special in them. They just didn't have the opportunity or the folks around them to get that out, and no one's perfect. Everybody has something going on, and we have to be cognizant and sensitive to that as well. And me being the mayor of the city, it really empowers folks when I approach them, offer them assistance, or just talk to them or have a cup of coffee with them, because we have a lot of services here. My job is to get those services to our community or neighboring communities. And I've been real, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but I've been real successful at doing that, because I'm a hands-on, boots on the ground person. Sometimes some of our staff members or people tell me, you're not supposed to be doing that, or you don't have to do that. I love to do it. I don't see myself as this person that's untouchable or not available. I see myself as a team player, even though I have different responsibilities and it's my job to do different things. However, I see myself as a team member, and I wouldn't ask anyone to do anything I wouldn't do. And when you do that, it empowers people, and they really want to work harder for you and work hard. And if folks work harder for me, they work hard for the community. And so that's why I love where we're at. So we're going to the next level. I have some great ideas and things I want to do in the future. I'm up for re-election this year, and I hope I'm successful. The last 3.5 years I've been on council, not to say I was a savior, but I have to be honest. I brought an energy to the city that other folks want to be part of. So that it's great. It's a great place to be right now.
That's amazing. And those are the intangible things. Those are things that build up great leadership, especially when people can see you out in the community doing all these different things from the low level to the high level and in between and all through and through. And so what are some of the things going into re-election that are the focal point and things that I guess were in process, but now this is like execution time for you?
Yeah. So there's a few things, and it all boils down to those words we always hear politicians say, quality of life, right? But how do we get there, right? And so I talked about the entertainment and the big things we going on to have the city. I mean, the Coachella Fest and Southwest Arts Festival. But what about the people who support that? What about our workforce? What about the people who are working behind the scenes to ensure we have these things, our tour and visitors taken care of? And I have to make sure why everyone is having a great time. I'm working on supporting them. So the number one thing is affordable housing for me and attainable housing. We have folks who are having challenges finding housing, not only just normal folks, we have veterans, we have senior citizens. So I really want to support that. And I'm very, very proud in the city of Indio right now, we have 1,000 affordable housing units, either in construction or planning. While I'm talking, there's not too many other cities that at our side could say that. So that's very near and dear important to me. And that is a perfect segue into the next thing, which is homelessness solutions. Like I said, I'm hands-on. I really utilize our partners work. We have nonprofits, we have churches, we have our county, we have our food banks that I really, really work with closely, and we have to support those. Those are the experts, right? I'm the one who's bringing the resources and coming in. However, I like to work alongside of them, and show them that I'm supporting them, and I also want to show that community, whatever challenges you have, you're human. It's a human challenge, and we're going to have to work on this together. And so I'm really hands-on with the unsheltered population, and housing is an element of it. And, some folks have challenges with, substance abuse because, self-medicating, and alcohol and, domestic violence or just abandonment in itself. So it's going to take a team. It's a collaborative effort to work on some of these issues. And one of the other thing I want to focus on is fiscal responsibility. Our we don't know. We're going into the unknown with our economy, and even though the city of Indio has done good, during the pandemic, financial wise, and condolences to the folks who we lost due to COVID-19, not only in India but across the world, because it's devastating. It's one of those things to where even when I got COVID, I didn't tell anyone I got it, because we had a lot of things going on in the city, and sometimes things are magnified because the mayor has COVID. But it was at a time to where I didn't have to be around anyone, and I got very little symptoms. However, some folks in my community didn't make it through COVID, so condolences to them. However, we have to prepare for things like that. And so we're in a good position in the city of Indio, financially wise. So being conservative, spending responsibly, and really, working with the community and seeing what our needs are versus our wants. And just like any other generation, I think we'll get through this and we'll come out on top. And so those are some of the things I want to work on. And I think one of the other issues, or not issues, but topics that really supports all this is economic development. Working with our business community, creating this synergy that developers and folks want to come into the city of Indio. It's happening. And so there's construction on every corner.
That's what I was gonna ask you too, is the opportunity for like entrepreneurs. I do see a lot of movement. I know a couple people that are doing development within the city as well too. And so from the more seasoned entrepreneur to the younger entrepreneur, is there opportunity?
I love to foster the entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur growing up as a young teenager. At 12 years old with my brothers, we had our own DJ business. So we were doing weddings and quinceañeras all over the valley, and traveling a little bit at a very young age. And so I like to not only learn from other business and take that information and disseminate it amongst our youth and have these small roundtables, discussions, but also work on providing spaces for our young entrepreneurs to flourish. We did have an innovative hub with CVEP in the city of Indio. We supported that, and COVID was, kind of hurt that a little bit, but we did support that through the city. But personally, that's something I want to create, that pipeline for our entrepreneurs to go into the business or workforce with that experience, or not only have that, I want them to be the business owner. In my community, I have a lot of proud people who work very, very hard to get to where they're at. However, they weren't exposed to business, so they sometimes want their children to follow in their footsteps. And sometimes you have to tell them, let them spread their wings, let them go. And we can support that. So I love that. We're doing some great stuff in downtown Indio. That's always been a place, a focus for me. Our residents, that was something that they really wanted, is a downtown Indio. And if you go down there right now, we have construction going on from entertainment, restaurants, college, so housing. So it's going to be great in downtown Indio.
It's going to be a whole vibe.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah, definitely let us know how we can help with that.
Absolutely.
I mean, we definitely want to plug in. All right, so man, it's been a pleasure. I love talking to you. We have to get a part 2 because there's some things that I kind of want to dive into as well too. But man, I just want to thank you. And how could people connect with you and kind of follow the journey through the election, as well as getting some information as well?
Great. Okay, so I'll just start off with my email. It's wferman@indio.org. That's my email. Now my Facebook is Mayor Waymond Ferman. You can find me on there. I'm big on social media, so I actually have 4 Instagrams, but that's my mayor page, and I also have a Facebook. It should be Mayor Waymond Ferman as well. So folks can find me there. I'm easy to find once you start plugging my name. There's not too many Waymond Fermans around this world. However, I do appreciate the support. I think it's important that I stay in the city for a few more years and to carry these tasks out. We have a lot on our plate right now, but I'm super excited where we're going. And like I said, the planets have aligned for our community, and I'm going to be there to support it. So this is great. So I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. We're going to do part 2 as well.
Part 2. We're going to go in.